Hello again, gang, and welcome back to Mr. Cruze's walkthrough of your Chapter 7.1 to 7.5 Spring Break Quiz, which will be given tomorrow, Friday, March 22nd, 2013. Okay. In this video, we will continue. All right. Write the expression as a single logarithm. So basically, instead of two logs, we're trying to make one log. Okay. To do that, the first thing you have to take care of is any powers that you might have. Okay, any numbers out front become powers. So 7 log base 4 of x now becomes log base 4 of x to the 7th power. Same with the 2 log base 4 of y. It now becomes log base 4 of y squared. Now, because they're both in their own separate logs, think of them as a young unwed couple, and they're about to move into their house together. So we have log base 4 of x to the 7th, and it's going to move in with log base 4 of y squared. So they become the same log, and now they just multiply together. X to the 7th, y squared. Probably a bad analogy, but hopefully it helps. Okay. Same with this one, log base 6 of 25 minus log base 6 of 5. So we're going to move them into the same log. Now, because it's subtraction, instead of multiplying, you're going to be dividing. Okay. Notice this time it didn't have any powers to deal with up front. Anyway, 25 over 5 is, of course, 5. So there it is. Single log. Number 11 wants us to go the other way. Now we're going to break up that married couple. Okay? So we're intentionally forcing a divorce. Log base 2 of x, since it's division, that becomes minus. Log base 2 of 6. Okay? And no powers to deal with, so we're good. 12 is the same way. Log base 8 of 12. But this time it's multiplication, so that'll be plus log base 8 of x to the 4th. And then you look and see if there are any powers, and there are. So think of it as they divorced, and then now this one's kicking out the dog because they don't want it to live with them anymore. So it goes outside the house, outside the log. And there you go. 13. Initial population of 500 buffalo increases at an annual rate of 3.2%. So as a decimal, that's 0.032, right? Write an exponential function to model the buffalo population, and then we'll figure out what it is after 3 years. Well, on your quiz tomorrow, you'll see at the top this little guy, y equals ab to the x. A is the initial amount. B is your growth factor, growth or decay factor, but normally we just call it growth factor. And remember, b equals 1 plus r. Remember, if it's increasing, r is going to be positive. If it's decreasing, r is going to be negative. Okay. X itself is just time. Okay. So here we go. Y equals 500 buffalo to start off with. Increases, so it'll be 1.032 to the x. So there's your equation. And now let's plug it in. 1.032 to the, let's see what they say, 3 years. So I just plug that in my calculator. So some quick calculating on your calculator. And I get 549.55, something like that. But think about it, this is a population of buffalo. Do I have enough for 550th buffalo? The answer is no. I've got 549 buffalo and some buffalo parts, I suppose. So it'll just be 549 buffalo. I know we're used to rounding up, but you can't round up when you're talking about buffalo or people or birds or whatever. Okay. Suppose we invest $1,200 at an annual interest rate of 1.2%. Okay, 0.012. Compounded continuously. Ooh, continuously. This will be a very, very important word tomorrow, because there's another formula on your sheet that you'll have that looks like this, which can only be used when it's continuous compounded interest. Okay, so you'll have to remember that. Alright, might be one of the first things you do when you get your quiz is right on there, continuous, when you see this. Okay, and just point to it. Okay, anyway, it's real simple. It's almost the same thing. P is your initial amount, E is a number, it's on your calculator, R is the rate, this time not added by 1 though, and T is time, of course. So how much will we have in 7 years? So $1,200 times e to the r is 0.012, and t is 7 years. So then I just multiply, and I'm going to show you on the calculator just so you can see how I would plug it in. Okay. I would plug it in like this. 1200 times E is over here to the 0.012 times 7. Oh, make sure you hit the times. 7, and then close the parenthesis. Anyway, how much will I have after 7 years? I will have $1,305.15. Make sure you have cents because every penny matters, right? So that's not so bad. The half-life of a certain radioactive material is 2,730 years. The initial amount of the material has a mass of 1.7 kilograms. Write an exponential function and then figure out how much remains after 10,000 years. So half-life will be another formula they'll give you. A times 1/2 to the T over HL. A is the initial amount, T is time, and HL is half-life, obviously. So how much are we starting with? 1.7 kilograms. 1/2. Why is it always 1/2? Because it's half-life. Crazy, I know. We're going to leave T for now because we just want the function. Divided by the half-life, which is 2730. So there's your function. That's that first part. We just checked that off, okay? Now, after 10,000 years, let's figure out how many kilograms we have left. I'm going to plug in 10,000 for T. And again, I'll show you how to plug this in. So let's see. I'll clear this all for you. 1.7 times 0.5 is the same as 1/2 to the, and I'm going to use another set of parentheses, 10,000 divided by 2730. You can't use enough parentheses on these. Okay. Anyway, you hit enter. And it says around to the nearest thousandth, which is three decimal places. So that'll be 0.134 kilograms. So after 10,000 years, it went from 1.7 kilograms to a measly 0.134 kilograms. Okay, without graphing, determine whether the function represents exponential growth or decay. Well, remember, growth is if b is greater than 1. That b value right there is if it's bigger than 1. Decay is if it's between 0 and 1. Well, obviously 9 over 4 is 2.25, which is bigger than 1, so it'll be growth, okay? It's really easy to remember. If it's greater than 1, it'll be growth. And if not, it's decay. Okay? That's all I wanted. And let's crack out these last four. Why not? Solve each equation. Round answers to the nearest thousandth. 3 decimal places. Okay? So 2 to the 5x plus 1 equals 32. Since it's exponential, I'm going to log it. Log both sides. So we've got that. So the 5x plus 1 can come out front. So 5x plus 1 log 2 equals log of 32. I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by log of 2. And then on your handy-dandy calculator, you can take log of 32 divided by log of 2. Make sure you type it in correctly. You should get 5. So anyway, 5x plus 1 equals 5. Subtract 1, 5x equals 4. Which means x equals 4/5 or 0.8. I don't care which answer. Either one's fine. It does say nearest thousandth, so we should probably do decimal, but oh well. I'd take either answer. It's fine. 18, let's do the same way. Log it. Log both sides. Okay. Why that one's in parentheses and that one's not, I don't know. Anyway, the 2x minus 1 comes out front. You have the log of 12 and you have the log of 64. You're going to go ahead and divide both sides by log of 12. And this one I don't think is going to come out as nice as the last one. Log of 64 divided by log of 12. I get this. Let's see, 2x minus 1 equals 1.674. So I'm going to add 1. So 2x equals 2.674. And I'm going to cut it in half. Divide by 2. So that will be 1.337. Oh, that's pretty neat. Awesome. Okay. last couple. Well, these are both logs. Well, as long as the log's by itself, you can feel free to bump that base. And if it's not written, the base is 10, of course. So you're going to bump it. Raise both sides. So the 10 and the log 10 are just kind of going to cancel each other out. So you have 2x plus 5 equals 10 to the third, which is 1,000. Okay, these are just merely exponents. You can plug them in your calculator. So 2x equals 995, which means x equals whatever half of 995 is. I believe it's 497.5. Yep, that's right. So there you go. Whew, these are easy. This one, you might think to bring the power up, but I think it's easier if you divide by 8. You get log of 5x equals 2. And then again, once the log's by itself, you bump that base. 10 and the log cancel. You're left with 5x equals 100, because that's 10 squared, which means x equals 20. Piece of cake. All right. And there you have it. Your review fully completed. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to contact me. I will be at school in the morning. All right. See you guys then.